My name is Shenka Ponsale and I love crypto just as much as you probably do. About 2 years ago, I really started taking a deep dive into crypto with DeFi, and I learned a lot about which projects to avoid and which projects to embrace. I also really got a huge fascination for trading. And as you probably know, there are three ways you can trade. You can trade with a very long-term horizon, meaning you understand that there's a bull market, a bear market, and that those cycles have cycle tops and cycle bottoms. If you know that on average a cycle takes about 1,000 days to play out, you know that it takes patience to go through these cycles. That is the long-term vision of trading. And to be quite frank, if you have that much time, you are probably better off dollar cost averaging into Bitcoin than trying to time the market. Next is the what I call swing investor. And that is a person who has time about half an hour to an hour per week, follow the markets, stay up to date. And that person is able to trade the multiple iterations of ups and downs within the crypto market. Because in one cycle, whether it is a bull or a bear, there's often multiple iterations of the well-known cycle of people being fearful, then greedy, euphoric, and then, the emotional cycle. So that's for people who have about half an hour to an hour per week. And then there are people who really understand the power of trading the markets. And you come to a point where you think, could I live off of trading? And that is exactly what I too was thinking about a little bit more than 5 months ago. I really got very serious in pursuing that idea. And here's the truth. Even though I am a fairly good trader, I don't always have the time to spend hours and hours behind the screen in order to be successful in day trading. And I'm saying specifically day trading because I want to get to a point where I live off of crypto, meaning I have a predictable daily income from crypto. Now, as if you have tried a little bit for yourself, that is very difficult because that is not how trading works. Unless you are a Warren Buffett of crypto trading, you have to often accept that you take losses quite frequently and then also, of course, make wins, right? But it's not like you make money every day. Very few traders can make that happen. As a matter of fact, only 20% of traders actually make money, and the rest, the 80%, the majority, they lose money, which makes a lot of sense because in a lot of ways, trading is a zero-sum game, meaning the money that you make, someone else needs to lose it. This led me to thinking, what is a better way to overcome this inconsistency? What is a better way to create a circumstance in my life where I have predictable daily income on my capital, and I can also pursue my career? In my case, I'm a business owner. I also have started a alliance called the Crypto Alliance, which really has a focus on teaching people about crypto, about decentralized finance, and how to live a crypto lifestyle. As you may know, there are various ways of making passive daily income in the realm of decentralized finance. But it is very tricky because there are a lot of traps that are set out for us. For instance, what anyone can do in DeFi is create their own project and then raise capital, typically with a coin that is a custom coin. And then if the project goes well And if the project owner is a good person, you can definitely make some returns on investing into exotic DeFi projects. However, that is not something that you can rely on for consistent passive income. So I have taken a lot of what I learned, my ups and downs, and I have come to the conclusion that one of the safest things one can do in the world of crypto and decentralized finance is participate in liquidity pools. Now, you're probably wondering, what is a liquidity pool? Now, let me help you. So, whenever you have a market, your favorite coin, for instance, let's say Ethereum, whenever you buy Ethereum in a decentralized exchange, someone has to prepare that market for you. In the centralized world, the Coinbases, the Krakens, and so on and so forth, the Binances, those companies pre-fund the market and then they add a margin and fees when you buy and sell. In the decentralized approach, it is very similar with a very fine distinction, and that is that you can be the person who provides that upfront liquidity. And that is done in a fashion where you take your capital, let's say you have $10,000, and you split it up. You buy $5,000 worth of the coin that you want to prepare a market for or provide liquidity. For instance, that could be Ethereum. And the other half is invested into a coin that people use to purchase Ethereum. Now, what I like to do is I like to do half of my capital in the coin that I'm trying to support and half of it in a stable coin. So for instance, Ethereum and USDT would make a lot of sense to me. And the reason why this is so brilliant is because while providing that liquidity, there are several things happening. First of all, you of course hodl, as we say in the world of crypto, the Ethereum coin. Second of all, is that you gain yield and fees from being a liquidity provider. So I'm not saying this is absolutely foolproof. There are definitely some risks attached to it. Namely, you have to trust in the decentralized exchange that you pick. That's the number one risk. And the second risk is something that we call impermanent loss. And that is, for example, if you have Ethereum in one of your liquidity pools that you provided liquidity to, and the value of Ethereum drops very drastically, of course, your value invested drops as well. And if you sell out too early, just like in normal trading, then you lose some of your net value. However, there's ways to manage it. What I'm telling you here is just a very kind of superficial, high level view of how this works. And as in everything, there is different ways you can try that for yourself. One way is to be very hands-on and to create your own liquidity pools on those DEXs, as we call them, right? So you can go, for instance, to Uniswap, or you can go to PancakeSwap, or you can go to Aerodrome, and you can open your liquidity pools manually and manage them. That's the rawest form of doing it. It's also very involved because you have to babysit and monitor your liquidity pools several times a day. Then there is an intermediate where you use AI to power the monitoring of your liquidity pools. That is also very nice if you know what you're doing. There is another version which is completely automated, if you will, probably also driven by AI, but also monitored by a team. That is often a platform built by developers that you may or may not trust. You have to do your own research, of course, as always in this world. And then you give them money, typically in the form of stablecoin, and they will manage those liquidity pools on your behalf and typically guarantee you a certain return on your investment. One platform that I use to do specifically that is called Paka Finance. And I'm going to show you on a live masterclass coming up this Monday how to set that up. If you use Paka Finance, which I only ever talk about things I do myself, you should expect about 11% on your capital monthly. And that is definitely not bad. Now, as always, you have to do your own research. Paka Finance does lock your capital up for 250 days. The yield you can withdraw daily for as long as it is a minimum of $25, I believe. But again, all of that I will explain and show in more detail on a live Zoom call that you should sign up now. I'm putting the link somewhere around this video. If you see this video way later, I'm going to make sure that there is a way for you to also watch a recording in the form of a pre-recorded webinar. But right now I'm releasing this in March of 2025, and it's actually March 25th of 2025. And I am planning a real live Zoom session that you can sign up for. So don't waste any time. If you're watching this video way after that, I am very confident that I will still give you access to the information, of course, in a pre-recorded fashion. That's it for now. I hope this video has helped understand a little bit how you can live a crypto lifestyle that also gives you passive income. Now, don't forget, nothing in crypto is super entirely safe. There's always risk involved, and you have to do your own research. If what I have explained to you was helpful, please give me a subscribe to the channel, and also share this video with someone that you know will benefit from the topics touched upon. All right, thank you so much. I'll see you next time.